Alright, hello. I'm going to try and show you a decode here. Um, I don't know what I've called this video, probably something like the 29 cross or something. And I'm going to show you how this cross that I've got drawn out here with these numbers encodes for both Queen Elizabeth II and who is now not Prince Charles anymore, but King Charles. Okay, I'm going to show you how those two things are encoded within these numbers here. Okay, now if you're new here, these are not just random numbers that I've decided just to put on a cross and then show you some kind of random decode. Okay, what these numbers are is these come from a table that I use for my decodes. Okay, let me show you the table very quickly, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so this table I use for my decodes is basically made up of Fibonacci type numbers. Okay, so it encodes the golden ratio, which is all about balance. Okay, I believe it's all about balance, movement, cycles, and therefore, which is what reality is all about. Therefore, we can look at some of these numbers and try and infer some things from them. Okay, we can look at certain patterns within this table and we can infer certain meanings behind numbers. Okay. Anyway, to get you up to speed, if you're new, you probably want to go and watch this video. Just check my back catalogue and watch the chart that predicts the future explained. Okay, and that'll get you understanding this thing a little bit better. But straight off the bat, if you're somebody that likes Back to the Future, you can see the 55 and the 88 in here, and here's the Twin Towers right here at the center of this thing, because the 11 is at the center of balance, basically. Okay, so hopefully that whetted your appetite a little bit for this table. Let me move on though to show you this cross. Okay, so the cross that I've picked out of here to do this decode on, right, it's maybe not as obvious as maybe picking out a cross here or a cross here. Okay, but it does join some of this stuff up, and the cross that I'm looking at is right here and right here. Okay, that's where those numbers have come from, that portion of the table there. Okay, and what I've done, the reason why I've picked it out like this is because, without sounding like a broken record, I wanted to have 29 at the center of the cross, and because 29, what we've got at the center of the table itself is this 1118. Okay, and the balance point is really right between those two numbers. Okay, they're mirrors of one another, even though they're not actually mirrors of one another. These numbers are supposed to be mirrors of one another, so they should be somehow combined, but remain somehow individual in themselves as well. And so this 29 is the perfect representation of these two numbers, because the reduction of 11 is 2, the reduction of 18 is 9, so we have a 2 and a 9 individually, and then if we combine those two numbers, we're also getting 29. 11 plus 18 is 29. So it's important to have this number at the center of our cross, at the heart of the cross, because the heart, if you look at the body, the heart is the center of the body. That's the balance point. Okay, so without getting too bogged down now talking about this stuff, the other important thing was to have the arms, which again are in line with the heart, was to have those two things, and I will explain this a little bit further in a minute, was to have these two things, which are the weighing scales essentially, also be part of balance. And this 7 is representing, the 7 column here is representing the combination of these numbers together. Okay, so when we combine these numbers, we have balance with those two numbers. Okay, now let's move on to the actual cross. I've got these numbers now, and you'll see how they look in the cross. and you'll see why I'm going to explain this a little bit further. What I want to go to, let's go, it's in here, 29 cross. Okay, let's get a better colour. Hang on, that's fine, that's fine. Right, what am I doing here? There we go. Okay, so here's our heart at the center of this thing. Okay, and I've got this 47. Now when we look at it in the table, 7 is the last number, okay, and 1 is the first number as we're moving this way, okay, through the table. Now actually we're going that way when we're looking at the table, but we're moving left to right, okay, up, down to up here, okay. So let me explain. I like the idea of with this representing the body, yeah, because the crucifix, the cross represents the body, the legs, number 11 here, with the outstretched arms, okay. And what's actually interesting about this 29 is if you do some gematria on the word heart, one of the numbers you'll come up with is 29. I can't remember if it was the reverse reduction, maybe, I don't know, but anyway, 29, the heart, okay. So that's kind of interesting as well. But the other interesting thing was when I was looking at this and thinking about this, I'm like, you know what? I think they number the chakras, even if it's not. I don't know if it's completely correct or not, but I'm pretty sure they, you know, like the root chakra is number 1, moving up to the crown chakra, which is number 7. So we have this 1 and 7, you know, kind of in here for the first number and the last number, which is I thought was interesting with that kind of connection there. Anyway, we need to get to the point here pretty quick because I don't want this to be too long. You know, that's really my logic for picking this out the way I did. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you as well is what is on either side of the heart here. Okay, because what we've got is the number 13, which equates to M in the alphabet. Okay, and then we've got the number 37. And we haven't got 37 letters in the alphabet. So how are we going to break this down for finding a letter? We've got M over here. And the reason why I'm picking on M is because Mary, okay? And Mary is that side, that feminine side of balance, which is the metaphysical, okay? But over here, we've got a problem finding a letter here. Well, we don't have a problem finding a letter. It's just how are we going to decode this number for a letter? Well, the first thing you can do is you could minus, let's say you could minus 26 off of here. So you'd be going through the alphabet one whole time, and then you'd be left with 11, okay? And you could come through the alphabet to the 11th number, which is K, okay? So that would be one way of doing it. So we could have a K. We could also just look at it and say, well, what's the third letter? C. And what's the 7th letter? G. Okay. So we've got 3 different letters here. Okay. And then there's yet another way to do this as well, which it would be just to reduce these, reduce the 37 down, which of course 7 plus 3 is 10. So that would give us a 10. Okay, which we could either we could reduce it further and we could say it's a 1, so we could have A, right? And we could also have the 10, which is J. Okay. Now I've got just about every blooming thing on this side. I mean, it's just amazing the way that reduces down, or the letters you can pick from this, because what we've got is we've basically got the king. Okay, and the king is Christ, which is Jesus, and of course Jesus Christ is basically God, and of course the first man, Adam, Well, there's some similarities there with Adam and Jesus. Okay, so I mean, I'm not being funny, but that's pretty wacky in its own right there, that we've just come up with these letters from this number, and we've come up with basically everything that you know I don't know, we've just come up with basically sort of the majority of the sort of physical references, yeah, because Adam is man. Okay, we've come up with basically every physical reference, really, and then we've got the metaphysical reference over here. Just interesting, and we're going to be looking at King Charles here in just a second. Not the Kansas City Chiefs, but King Charles, okay? Oh dear. Okay, so with that being said, okay, I thought that was interesting because, again, we've got the physical side of nature over here and the metaphysical, okay? And what we're dealing with as well with the hands is we're dealing with the hands actually manifesting the ideas that we have, okay? So I don't know, the idea of the balance scale, the little cups, that are hanging off of the scale, and there's everything has to balance. So we have to have the physical balancing with the metaphysical, okay? I don't know, but yeah, I just let's get rid of this stuff and let me show you really what I wanted to show you, because it gets a little more mental than this as well. Sorry I'm so croaky, I've still got a pesky cold. Let me show you something with the Queen here, right? Okay, so we can do differences between these numbers, okay? We can come up, the difference there is 7, okay? The difference between these two numbers is 11, okay? And the difference between these two numbers is 18, okay? Because this is actually just a Fibonacci type. No, this is Lucas numbers, and we're just adding the previous number to get to our next number, okay? So that's why we see this 18 repeated here. Okay, so some interesting numbers right here, because we've got the 187, okay, a number that I've gone on about before, but I just wanted to show you that number there, okay. And again, the 187 kind of encodes a number jump in a minute where to start from, because remember, when I don't want to make this too complicated for new people, but for old people, the 7,810 day jump that is in our chart that I was just showing you, this is in the chart on the cross of St. Andrew that's in there, or the X, whatever you want to call it. X marks a spot. But this is one of our number jumps that we go from 2001, 9/11 in 2001, and it's going to take us to January the 29th this year, okay? And that's something to bear in mind here in a minute, because we're going to do another super interesting number jump at the end of this, but I don't want to get too much scribble up here. But that's our 187 reference, okay? We can also do the difference here, which is 16 between the 13 and the 29, and we can do the difference between 29 and 37, which is 8. And here we have whichever way you want to look at it, but this is the 16th of August, which is Madonna's birthday, okay. And we do have 37 will be coming up here pretty soon. That would be kind of interesting if she croaked it on the 7th of March. But let me go back here a minute. Also with the 18, let me just go to this here and show you. With the 168, this is Queen Elizabeth II's gematria as well. So again, super interesting. that's buried in there as well. Now, and also Elvis's death date as well, of course, because what we've got here is reverse those letters and we have the start of Elvis. Okay, and it's interesting that Elvis is usually have written like this with the big L as well. Okay, so that's also interesting. Now, let's do, I think what I'll do is I'll do the Queen and the Prince Charles's numbers next. Okay, so we're going to do a reduction now. And let me show you some interesting stuff here. So we're going to take these numbers coming across here and we'll do a reduction with them. So we've got 4 and 29 reduces to 11. Okay, and 37 reduces to a 10. Okay, that's kind of interesting because those numbers there, just read them in reverse. The 11th month is November, and the 14th of November is King Charles's birthday. So that's pretty interesting already. Okay, let's just do this. Let's do a further reduction. Okay, pretty simple, nothing majorly mental about it. 4 stays at 4, 11 goes to 2, 10 goes to 1. I kind of cheated a little bit there because that should be a 0 in the front there, but what have we got? 4/21. Okay, April, that's April. Okay, and April the 21st is the Queen's birthday. So this is pretty mental, I would say. I think that's a pretty mental decode there. Those two things right there, just insane, just absolutely insane. Okay, so we've got that done right. So we know that King Charles now, and the QE2 is right here. Okay, let's get rid of that lot because I don't know if it gets more mental or not, but let me just show you this. I want to come down now, right? And I'll do the same thing. Okay, so 47, that's an 11. Okay, actually, let's move it out here so we don't get into this 37 here. So that's an 11. The 29 is an 11. Okay, the 18 is a 9, and then we've got a 2. Okay, so we've got our 9/11 right at the start, right in the middle of this thing. Oops, which is kind of interesting as well. Okay, and we can also break this set of numbers down into 2 sets of numbers because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits here. So what I'll do is I'll say, well, let's take 3 digits here and let's take 3 digits there. So now we have 129, that number I was telling you about with the 187 jump, but it's the 7,810 day jump. Okay, so we get our 129 in here, and we've also got our 111. Okay, which again is 111 days left in the year, 111 days left gone. This is 9/11 and the Queen's birthday. Okay, so this is looking pretty. This decode is looking pretty interesting. But wait, no, hang on. There's more mentalness to this. If I could say mental one more time, let's do another reduction here. Okay, 2, 11 goes to 2, 11 goes to 2 there. This stays the same, and this stays the same. So now we have 2292 or 2922, okay, as a number. And I'm thinking, I just thought to myself, because I like doing these 4-digit number jumps. I'm like, you know what I'll do? I'm going to go from these 2 dates that I just picked out of here. Yeah, this date and the 111. Okay, and I'm going to do some number jumps with this. So let me go to that and show you those, because again, craziness is going to ensue here. So the first thing I did is I put 2922 in, okay? And when you do that, okay, it just takes you 8 years either into the future or into the past. You know, I can put a minus in here, and we're 8 years into the past there. So this just does an 8-year jump, right on the nose as well. And it seems like it doesn't matter what year you go from, it doesn't seem like the leap years mess it up. At least I haven't come across a jump. I just did a few, and I didn't come across a jump that messed it up with the leap years. So maybe this is a little more special than it appears on the surface, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's 8 years, which is interesting again because, of course, what I want to go to, no, because that's got the wrong thing in it. Oh, hang on a minute. The number 8, of course, ties into the physical column, the column of man, okay? So the number 8 is super important. The 88, the 8 that's in here, the 18, okay? So that's super important to remember, okay? Hang on a minute. So I was like, well, okay, let's do it the opposite way around now, you know. Let's do, instead of doing, let's flip that round and go in reverse, okay? So when I did that, let me show you what that comes to. May the 9th. And for people that watch the channel, you'll be going, oh, bloody hell, Dan. That goes to May the 9th. Yeah, I was pretty shocked when I saw this myself. I was like, oh, this is nuts. So for people that are new, May the 9th is a date that I have picked out for the Hoover Dam destruction. That's my next Hoover Dam destruction date. And what, if you can see my cursor here, here's this 187 that ends up being that 7,810 day jump. And here's the opposite of that, which is the 7,910 day jump, which actually takes you to this 5/9 date, okay, the 9th of May. That is important because this 9th of May, of course, is the 129th day of the year, and again, this 129 is important, okay. So, oh, you know, I was pretty gobsmacked when I saw that, right? So let's carry on doing some more number jumps with this 2292, right? I was like, you know what I ought to do? Let's go from like January the 11th, because let's do the 111 dates now, okay? The other part of before we reduce that down to the 2292, right? So I put that in there and I click on it. I'm like, oh bloody hell. We're at the Queen's birthday now, the 21st of April. You just can't write this stuff. I'm like, really? So you see my logic there, you know, I'm using these other numbers here, okay? This 111 that's in here, okay? So that's absolutely insane. In fact, it would be better if I would just show you what I'm doing here. Let's write out what I'm doing, okay? So I'm taking that 111, okay? I'll go over the top of it so you can see what I'm doing, okay? So I've taken the 111s there, and let's do the other one in purple. Actually, let's do green. And then I've taken this 129 here, 129, okay? So those are my two starting date things, you know. So it's just insane that now we're at the Queen's birthday. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I ought to put the November date in. So we do the opposite, 11/1, and we'll click on that, and we're back to 29, back to 29, the 9th of February here. And I'm like, you know what? There's another date as well, October the 11th. The reason why this is special is because this connects to the $1 bill as well, this October the 11th. I'm not going to explain it right now, but this number is in the dollar bill. So I do it from there as well, and now I'm at the 19th of January, yeah, a 911 number. So I'm like, huh, And again, this number's in the dollar bill as well. But so I'm like, this is mental. And the reason why this is working is because this way around, this is, you know, 100. There's going to be 100 days difference in here, which is why we're getting that number jump. I don't know what would it be, 100 days more. So it's just insane. I don't know what else to say about it other than that, really. I mean, it was just a whole bunch of super interesting number jumps and super interesting encoding with something that's pretty simple, but it just is peeling away another layer of this thing to get down to, you know, some hidden stuff there, I guess. I think I want to leave it there for the decode. I don't think I've forgotten anything on this one. You know, I mean that's kind of interesting as well. Just even looking across here, the way these numbers are coming across with the 22, the 99, the 211 or 1112, 112. I'm just thinking, have I forgotten anything that's major here? I don't think I have. I think I'm going to leave it there. I think that's enough information for the video, and I'm going to do another video here pretty quickly. Another nice little decode video on John Wick. Yeah. Okay, because we've got the new one coming out soon. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment or whatever. Tell me I'm crazy. But yeah, alright. Cheers, bye.